All right, what's going on, everybody? So, down to the crypto markets. Let's get started because it looks like overnight session, BTC pretty much wiped off a significant chunk of yesterday's gains that we put up in the market. So we need to talk about that. I also want to talk about some metrics that I look at on Coinalyze from the global chart perspective. And then real quick, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up on this video. There's a sign up link for Bitget, the sponsor of this video. I've been using their exchange for the past few weeks. Like I said before, I like it a lot. They have a ton of rewards that they're giving out, which is fantastic. And they have a 1 Bitcoin campaign, which is they're giving away 1 BTC to a lucky 100 traders, not 1 BTC each, but 1 Bitcoin split. So I'm looking to make that Bitcoin. I'm looking to make this money. I hope you are too. You have the same opportunities that I do in terms of making this money. The link is below for the affiliate referral link, or it's in the top right of your screen. Okay, so let's get started now that that's out of the way. So here's kind of what happened yesterday, right? I want to talk about this real quick because yesterday was a very volatile day. Right around here, CPI data came out. Okay. One CPI data came out, which was 9.1% expected inflation, market nuked. Okay. Then at this previous support, market reclaimed that level, see right there, and it started to drift away. And at this particular point, right around here, we got into a long. Okay. So in the advantage side, we took a long here. So let me see exactly where it was. So in the 5K count yesterday, we had taken a long BTC right there. See that? Right around 19.4. Okay. And we closed out that long. And I said, hey, it looks like the market has popped a decent amount. And here's kind of how that looked. Right. So this is the 5K challenge account. If you guys are wondering. So as it hit, almost 20K, basically decide to close out of that trade, get out of my trade, completely, take that profit, secure it, right? Again, in the 5K challenge account, our goal right now is just capital preservation, right? Overall, your trading goal should just be to preserve capital, to not see big drawdowns in your account, and to effectively, do as good as you can in the current conditions. And then, I took on a Matic trade, which I thought would start breaking up higher. It did, but it did it like after I closed out of the trade because I thought, it was showing a momentum loss. You can see right here, it looked like everything was kind of fizzling away. And then after, of course, it broke up, right? Again, we are now switching my 5K challenge from FTX to fully on Bitget. Just because I like Bitget more now. I'm starting to recognize that Bitget has a ton of different opportunities. The market makers on Bitget are a little bit more forgiving. And of course, like I said, the rewards to trade on Bitget simply are just greater than pretty much any other exchange. Okay. Of course, please do your own due diligence about Bitget. So anyway, point is I translated, my 5K challenge from FTX into Bitget. So now I have the same amount of money, right? And I said, okay, yesterday, it looked like the market was about to break up, right? So this is on Bitget. And once I entered the trade, I thought, okay, I think it looks like, Ethereum, Bitcoin, most of the alts look like they're about to rip up. And I got into the trade luckily at 1,090 in ETH, or maybe it was slightly lower. I don't know. So 1,089. Okay, so pretty close. So anyway, I said, hey, it looks like there are some VWAPs, which again are volume weighted average price, right? That just means that, where is the volume transacted in a particular area for a given time period? Okay. Where's the most amount of volume rather transacted, right? So in this particular case, right, volume weighted average price was somewhere around here, where the average volume was coming up around here. And then where we are right now, it was coming up around here. So yesterday, as I pointed this out to Advantage members, I said, hey, it looks like, BTC and many of these alts. So I pointed this out right here. Right there, right? Tons of alts, BTC, they're all reaching at quarterly or monthly VWAPs, okay? There's BTC right there, hitting that VWAP. There is Solana right there hitting its own respective VWAP. There's AVAX right there, slightly breaking above its VWAP. Ethereum hitting the VWAP. Rune hitting the VWAP, right? So the point is that everything was kind of coming into resistance. And I said, that's probably the area that I want to start getting out of longs, okay? And I'm glad I did that because guess what, right? After that, market just broke back down inside, okay? So you have to recognize that when you get into a trade, as I've been saying for the past, few weeks, we are still in a large range, right? Like this range that we're in, let me go to a different chart here, okay? This range right here to me, or this consolidation is no different than what happened, here before we broke down. I don't see any reason why we can't break down from here either. Okay, we are just in a pretty rough environment, especially for crypto. And you almost just have to assume that things are going to get worse before they get better. Or if they're not going to get worse, show me that the signs are not getting, worse, right? Or rather, even the bad signs do not tank the market. Okay. Now, there are some caveats to that, which is Celsius, right? It filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Basically, they're not really allowed to sell whatever funds that they have because, now that you declare bankruptcy, that's just the law. Okay. So Celsius declares bankruptcy. We know that they were insolvent over the past, few weeks, right? We know Genesis Trading and BlockFi were also facing huge losses. We know that BlockFi said it liquidated Three Arrows Capital. We know that Three Arrows Capital itself is basically insolvent, and they've caused a lot of damage within the crypto ecosystem as well as the prices. And we know that overall, the crypto market has been in a tremendously bad bear market where you could see within DeFi, right, total value locked basically since the beginning of the year went from like a $250 billion high to now 73 billion, right? That's more than like a 60 or 70% drop. So point is that you can make the argument that the worst is behind us, okay? Celsius is behind us, Three Arrows Capital is behind us, BlockFi is behind us, even Voyager, right? I think also Voyager is insolvent, right? And they got a loan from Sam Bankman-Fried. But again, point is that all these things are behind us, and we know that crypto has faced a significant lashing over the past few months. Now the question is, are there more dead bodies that will surface? Okay, for the lack of a better term. Meaning, if the market keeps chopping here, or if it goes down further and further, will more and more insolvencies pop up? Will more funds blow up, causing a deeper contagion in the market, right? Because the market itself has not showed you that it's bottomed or that it's starting to go up. It's just showed you that, okay, well, we're, just in a larger consolidation here and anything can happen from here. But that is one of the concerning parts. And this, to me, right here in this area, looks very similar to what happened here. So you want to make sure that this thing starts breaking up here and holding up above this level, because this is a key resistance point. And we need to stay above this level for us to guarantee that a lot of selling has taken place here. Most of the sellers or insolvent people are gone. We don't need to worry about them anymore. And people who wanted to buy their assets or the market basically, weeded them out. All that stuff is behind us, and now we can go up, right? Right now, it's way too early to tell. So what do we do? Well, then there's just, simple range trading opportunities, right? For now, we already broke down below this ascending trend line structure. Not good. We're holding up above this 19,000 support. We're getting tagged below this 22,000 resistance. So the bigger range is this. That's basically the range that you could consider trading. Inside that range, then there's something else that's happening, which is yesterday when we hit this 20,400 high, and basically this low right here, which is around $19,250 or so, right? Then this is a mini range, okay? This high and this low. So that means that you may be able to trade between this little range. And that's, a decent size range as well, right? That's about a 5 or 6% range. So the point is that there's ranges within ranges that you have the opportunity of trading. And you have to keep in mind that that is exactly where the market is, which is just, a rangy trading market. Now, as I've said before, please do manage your risk. The game right now is capital preservation, right? If you look in the 5K challenge account, what I showed Advantage members, we're never taking massive positions. We're never taking huge risks. Our stops are always tight. Our positions are always small. We're pretty much actively trading wherever we can. And we try to get in and get out of the market whenever we can. So, aside from that, we just stay in cash. Like, I think like 40, 50% of the time we're in cash. Maybe 20, 30% of the time we're in trades. And then the other 10, 20% of the time we're looking to, put on a trade, right? So really, in reality, like only 25 to 30% of the time we're actually trading the market because the conditions themselves are so bad. And until we see a proper setup, it's just not worth it. Okay. Now, the opportunity is now quite simple, right? If you think that the market is done, it's cooked, and you think it's going to go down further, well, then the trade is very simple. Short here, stop above, 20,787, or deeper stop up here around 22.5, 22.6. Take that first take profit at this low. And then after that, there's other take profit levels. So for example, like on a weekly basis, here's kind of how it looks to me. I feel like the next big support level is on the way up along this trend line, which would be around $12,000 or $13,000, right? I mean, I know that looks bad and it looks impossible, but people also thought that 30K was impossible again, and 20K, and now we're pretty comfortable inside 20K. We like enjoying ourselves around 18 or 19K. So I don't know. I think it's just something that we have to be cautious about, be very vigilant with in this particular area, okay? Because we're literally sitting at previous all-time high. And as I've told y'all before, right, if the logic was that when we had COVID crash right here, and we started a lot of money printing right here, and this is where assets exploded from here on up, then that means that as that money is being taken away from the Fed, as they're raising interest rates, as quantitative tightening is happening, then why shouldn't this return back home, at least towards 10 or 12K? Not saying it has to go down to 3,000. That to me is also ridiculous, but it's not unreasonable to ask that this very, very visible support and resistance level should get retagged, right? It's not completely out of the question for that to happen. So that's a huge level that I'm watching very closely, $12,000 or $13,000. I took a poll on Twitter. I don't know why Twitter is not coming up for me, by the way. You guys can let me know. Is Twitter having an issue? Because it's sure as hell having an issue on my phone, my app, on my web browser as well. Yeah. Okay. So the chat says Twitter is not working well. Okay, good. Yeah, because I kind of figured something was wrong. So anyway, point is I took a poll on Twitter and I asked people, hey, what do you think is next? 25,000 or 15,000 or more chop? And I think about 45, 50% of the people said, 15,000 is next. Around 22 or 23% said more chop. And very few people said 25,000, right? Now, more often than not, a lot of people like to say, oh, well, if the majority of the crowd likes to believe that we're going to go lower, well, we're probably going to go higher. Well, for the most part, for the last 8 months, most of the time you took a poll, right? Most people would have said that, oh, from here, we're going to go up. From here, we're going to go up. From here, we're going to go up. But every time, those perma bulls were wrong. We went down and down and down and down. Right? So the momentum is down, and any 10-year-old could look at this chart and say, yeah, it looks like, we're just headed down, right? Until we recognize as technical traders, as people who look at the news, people who look at the macro world, are the conditions changing? Are the liquidity conditions changing? Is the base being built in crypto where you feel like, there's maybe a base being built like this, or you have a capitulation event where we're turning around like this, right? Or you have something like this, multi-month base, then pushing up. none of that has happened, or it's way too early to tell, right? So it's okay to just say, well, I have to assume that the market is going to break down because the momentum is clearly pointing on the way down, right? That's like, it's as simple as that. So it is what it is, that's where we are right now. And I have to assume that the market from the chop that we're in right now is going to break down further. So if you want to take on shorts, like I said, the trade is very simple. Stop has to be up here or deeper stop up here. And you could take this trade down to 17.5 or 15 or 13, all the way down here. Okay. Alts themselves, like I said, they're hitting resistance, right? It looks like Matic right here took all the liquidity from up here. I personally think Matic can chop around here up and down, but ultimately I do feel that it's going to break down further with BTC and most of crypto, unless we start seeing that the US equity markets are truly, bottoming out. Okay. We do have big earnings coming out for Microsoft and Google and Tesla in the next few weeks. So if the market does, say something like this and starts pushing up again, breaks out of this high, and it says, all right, I'm ready to go, leaving this bottom behind, then okay, then I can make the argument that BTC is also, possibly bottomed, right? But for now, this looks worse than BTC and crypto right now. And that's not a good thing, because we've had a pretty strong correlation with the S&P 500 index and BTC. So I am assuming that sooner or later, we're going to catch up with that, and BTC is going to start breaking down if, say, the stock market keeps breaking down. All right, cool. We already talked about this. A lot of open interest has been cleaned up. I think CL had pointed out that whenever you start seeing big spikes in open interest of the altcoin volume, so the others right there, above Ethereum and Bitcoin, that's usually where the markets start to turn around, meaning they start to, nuke. Right now, the markets are already in a very weird spot, which is that there's not really a whole lot of open interest in Bitcoin or ETH or even alts, right? My thought process is, as this open interest heavily spikes high on BTC, I believe at that point, altcoins are going to, at least some altcoins are going to start showing bottoming signs before Bitcoin does. Okay. I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a few altcoins that are going to bottom, 4, 8, 12 hours before BTC actually does. Okay. Because the best assets, even the stock market and even in crypto, will get bought up well before, all the other stuff, continues to keep dropping. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. What I have my eye on are things like Ethereum, Solana. I like Matic. I like Rune. I like bridge tokens like Synapse and Stargate. I like Aave as well. I like Curve Finance, right? These are the tokens that I'm kind of paying attention to. Okay, so just keep that in mind. They've had some big pops. If you want to short them, I mean, now is not a terrible time, right? But if you want to buy them, make sure you keep an eye on BTC and how the stock market is doing, because unless those two are bottomed, very hard to say alts are bottomed. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it, folks. Okay. Y'all take care. Good luck, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.